One husband was speaking on the phone, I'm missing you so much. I really wanted to see you. When will you come? The wife came and heard. What? Whom are you speaking to? He said, to my mother. Oh, then it's all right. The mother has got her place, the wife has got her place, the sister has got her place. Nobody has any problems. And Sri Krishna says, keep me alone. So the soul says, oh God, why are you so miserly? Why don't you permit me to keep the world as well? Andham tamah pravishanti ye asambhutim upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo yau sambhutyagvam ratah. This is saying if you worship the world, you will attain ignorance. But if you worship God, you will attain even greater ignorance. This really needs to be understood carefully. See, the principle is you need to attach your mind to the all pure. And the all pure is God and God alone. So if you wish to purify your mind, you have to attach your mind to God. He is Sambhuti, his own cause. And everything else is asambhuti. Means they are not their own cause. They have originated from God. It could be humans, the celestials, the ghosts and spirits. They are all asambhuti. So Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yanti deva vrata devan pitrin yanti pitrivrata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhya jinopi mam. Arjun, if you attach your mind to the devatas, you will go to them. If you attach your mind to humans, you will come back. If you attach your mind to the ghosts, you will go there. And if you wish to reach my abode, attach your mind to me. So attach your mind to God and to God alone. This is the Ananya Bhakti. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Sri Krishna says, Ananya chetah satatam yo mam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yogina. Arjun, I am easily attained. Otherwise he says I am not easily attained. It's very difficult. But here he says I am easily attained by those who become Ananya. Ananya means the mind is in God alone. It says Mam Ekam. Arjun, in your heart I alone should reside. The Bible also says you cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot have two masters, for then you will love the one and hate the other, or you will hold the one and despise the other. So you have to keep God in your heart. So the soul says, oh God, why are you so miserly? Keep me alone in your heart. Why don't you permit me to keep the world as well? In the world, we love so many people. A husband loves his wife, he loves his mother, he loves his sister. One husband was speaking on the phone, I'm missing you so much, I really wanted to see you, will you come? The wife came and heard. What? Whom are you speaking to? He said, to my mother. Oh, then it's all right. The mother has got her place, the wife has got her place, the sister has got her place. Nobody has any problems. And you say, keep me alone. God says, look, when you were loving the world, nobody had any problem. But if I came into your heart, everybody's problem would begin. Why is this person doing so much bhakti? Why can't you do it in moderation? What is the reason? You had just gone for the West Coast retreat. Why do you have to go for the family camp now? Swamiji is coming for a 7-day LTP. Is it not enough to attend one day? Do you have to go every day? So God says, look, love the world, it is fine. And if I came into your heart, the worldly people would object. Now you are walking my path. So now keep my family. My family is God's names, forms, virtues, pastimes, abodes, associates, the Guru. You keep any of these, I've got no problem. In fact, I'm even more pleased. Worship of my devotee is pleasing me more even than worship of my own self. But now you should not keep the world in sight. So God says it's a very simple principle. You have to purify your mind. Your mind is dirty since endless lifetimes. Now to purify it, you want to put soap and water in it. And on the other side, you start putting mud. And how will it get cleansed? So understand this principle of Ananya Bhakti. Now the mantra explains that look, if you attach your mind to the world, you will attain darkness. Darkness means you will come back in the world. But if you are doing only bhakti of God, you will attain a greater darkness. Now, why does he say that? Because people have varieties of ways of bhakti. So some people are considering this world real and this world unreal. It has got no value for them. Now some of the spiritualists are saying this is the only real world and the outside world has no value. So you start insulting people, you start misbehaving with people. One lady was driving a car. So she was going up the road, and from the other side was coming a man, and he was gesticulating something. And she said, what is he trying to say? And he was saying, pig. So she said, pig? You pig. He said, pig. She said, you pig. Now his car went by, and just after the car went by, she understood that he was trying to tell her there's a pig on the road. It was standing there, a huge creature, and to miss that pig now, she had to turn the car in the last minute and she went and hit the tree. Likewise, some people, they use spirituality to insult the world. They use spirituality to disrupt the world. That is a wrong understanding. For others, spirituality becomes a means of pride. 3 priests were sitting and one common person came. The priest prayed, "Oh God, I am such a sinner, I am so fallen, please grace me." The second priest said, "Oh God, I am so fallen, I am such a sinner, please grace me." And this common cobbler had walked in. He said, "Oh God, I am such fallen, such a sinner, please grace me." Both the priests look at him. Look who's thinking he is fallen. Now thinking they are fallen has become a matter of pride. I have the right to think I am fallen. This commoner doesn't have the right to think he is fallen. So spirituality has become a means of distinction, while spirituality should be a means of cultivating humbleness. True spirituality, vidya dadati vinayam. Now, if through our practice of spirituality we are becoming proud, then the consequence will be like the story of Satyabhama. Satyabhama is the consort of Sri Krishna in Dwarika. But she developed pride that, Sri Krishna is my husband and he always tells me, you look so beautiful, I'm so wonderful. Out there, the Sudarshan disc developed pride on its effulgence, its radiance. And God's eternal vehicle, Garudji, developed pride on his speed. So Sri Krishna thought, these great personalities have developed pride. I need to do something about it. He called Garudji and said, Garudji, will you do a work for me? What is it? In such and such place Hanumanji resides. Go and tell him that Dwarkadhish is remembering him. So Sri Krishna is Dwarkadhish who resides in Dwarka. So Garudji said, Arey Maharaj, this is a simple matter. I'll go in a jiffy and come in a jiffy. So he reached there. Now Dwapar Yuga was going on, Krishna avatar, and Hanumanji is a Chiranjeevi, so he had made an old form of his. And in a completely disinterested way, he was sitting there when Garudji came. And Garudji said, Hey monkey, are you Hanuman? Said, yes. Dwarkadhish is remembering you. Hanuman said, I have got nothing to do with Dwarkadhish. So Garudji returned. He said, Sri Krishna, where did you send to me? That monkey says he's got nothing to do with you. Sri Krishna said, oh no, Hanuman is not going to come like this. You tell Hanuman that Sitaram are remembering him in Dwarka today. Garudji said, all right. He went off again. Now he said, Hanumanji, I made a mistake. What I meant was that in Dwarka, Sitaram are sitting and they are remembering you. So Hanuman said, oh really? You should have said it in the first instance. I will come. Carry on. Garudji said, Maharaj, you're an old man. So why don't you sit on me and I'll take you quickly? So Hanumanji said, don't argue. You go, I'm coming. Garudji said, Maharaj, why are you insisting? Why don't you come and sit on me? Hanuman thought, oh, this bird is speaking too much. He tied Garud in his tail and threw him like this. So Garud suddenly became an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile. He landed somewhere in the Pacific. Now what is there for Hanuman? Manojavam Maharutulya Vegam. He can travel like the wind. So he started off. Here, Sri Krishna said to Satyabhama that Hanuman will be coming. And if he discovers that there is no Sitaram here, then who knows what he'll do? He may lift the whole and throw it in the ocean. Let's do like this. Let me become Ram and you become Sita. So Sri Krishna, he did his makeup, etc. He doesn't have to do much. He just kept the flute away and he got the Dhanush Band. So Satyabhama also tried. Apply some cold cream, etc. But where is the question of the beauty of Mother Sita coming in Satyabhama? So now Hanumanji was approaching at rapid speed. When Sri Krishna used to be in Dwarka, the Sudarshan disc used to do the patrolling of the city. Not even a mosquito should enter without permission. And he saw this monkey coming. He said, hey, stop, where are you going? Hanuman said, I'm going to see Sitaram. Sitaram? There are no Sitaram here. Hanuman said, first this bird and now this lattu. So Hanuman said, what did you say? I couldn't hear you. Come closer. When the disc came closer, Hanuman just grabbed him and put him in his mouth. I'll speak to you later on. So Sudarshan thought that my effulgence pales out the sun, and this monkey has put me in his mouth. So Hanumanji's cheeks swelled a little more. Now he reached the palace. So Krishna in the form of Ram, he said, Aiye, Hanumanji, so nice. Hanuman said, Maharaj, thank you for giving me darshan, but in this place. So Shri Krishna said, I was longing to meet you, my foremost devotee. Hanuman said, Maharaj, you are Sarvadhikar Sampan. You have the right to call me anywhere. But one thing is not acceptable to me. What is that? Where is my mother Sita? Who is this Naukarani who's sitting next to you? Maid servant. Now, if you cut Satyabhama, you won't get any blood out. He's called me a maid servant, and the person deciding is a monkey. Immediately, Satyabhama's pride was dispelled. In the meantime, Garudji came, and Garudji discovered Hanumanji is already here. So even without announcing, he slipped away. His pride also got shattered. Now Bhagavan asked Hanuman that, is your health okay? Did you get your annual medical checkup? Hanuman said, yes, Maharaj. So tell me, is there something wrong with the cheek, some kind of a syndrome? New syndromes are there, right? Hanumanji said, Maharaj, there was this rotating top in your city, so I put him in my mouth. The Hanumanji took him out and released, and Sudarshan ran from there. Jaan bachi lakhon pai. That this guy put me in his mouth. So the pride of all three was dispelled. And all of a sudden, God's grace descended. And they realized that he had created the Leela to shatter their pride. So the Ramayana says, Sunahu Ram kar sahaj subhav, jan abhiman na rakhahi kau. Ram is so compassionate, he doesn't permit his devotees' pride to remain. Yadapi pratham dukh pavai rovai bal adhir vyadhi nash hit janani ganati na so shishu peer. Just like when the child has a boil, the mother takes a razor and slashes. The child cries. The mother is unconcerned. That is her love. She knows it's necessary. So God also slashes out the ego in whomever it may be. So spirituality is great. But if it makes us rude, crude, disparaging, hypocritical, disruptive, egotistical, then spirituality doesn't serve the purpose. Spirituality then becomes counterproductive, and such a person attains an even greater darkness.